Hey, welcome back to Happy Little Note Trees. I am Greg, and today we're talking about the fact that I am ditching Lightroom this year, finally, for this free option. Because why not? One of the things I've been frustrated by for a while now is the fact that Lightroom and Adobe products are quite expensive. And the majority of color work that I'm doing for a video and everything like that is done in Davinci Resolve. And so it's like been one of those things, like every time I want to go work on my personal stills from travel and trips and things like that, I got to go to Lightroom and do all that. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, that's not fun. I understand there are a lot of conveniences, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in this video. But overall, you can see this is a pretty stacked long timeline of clips from a trip, and some of them are rotated, some of them are not. That is one of the things you kind of have to deal with in the color page of it, is to just have to go and tell it to rotate. And you can kind of do the whole clickety-click and do, oops, not rotate that way. Now you do. And reset your image that way and everything like that. But we're talking about how do we get from here, which is the RAW format. So one of the things you have to do is take your RAW photos. Some formats Resolve will recognize. I shoot Canon, so the CR2s aren't, so you have to run them through Adobe's DNG converter and make everything into DNG files. You can see that is what everything is listed as. And then it's how do we debayer that? So coming straight into Resolve, if we're going on the color page down here, you can see that it's just doing project settings. You can set this up however you want. What I have found to have the most versatility is to just tell it, especially if you're going to copy the grade across the board, that you're going to decode via the clip. That way you have these controls accessible if you want. You're not locked in like you are under the project settings where everything is kept away from you, and it's done in mass. Each clip might be a little bit different. I don't remember how some of these are shot, but it automatically wants to put everything in Rec 709, which is, or sRGB, since these are stills, but you want to switch it over to Blackmagic Design. You don't want to limit your gamut right out of the gate from going from your raw image down to Rec 709 when there's just so much. You can see the huge difference in just how the image is responding to being told that it's Blackmagic Design film versus that. You get more of a log state image that you're used to. After that, after you've made it into a DNG, you've brought it in into a timeline and strung everything out and made your raw footage debayer down to Blackmagic Design film, which is the two options it really gives you. You can do the other options. You have all these accessible to you to tweak and change that, but what we need to do is get it to our display. And so I was already working over on this image. We'll just copy that grade over. It's a one-layer node tree. If you like what it looks like, there is a video on the old website. Here you can pause. You can see a close-up view of what my raw tab looks like. And now I've brought in my basic node tree. And this has some look stuff done to it. We're running it through OpenDRT, putting it out to Rec 7924. Which is what is my display, so I don't have to change anything. And then if I was to export a still or anything like that, I would probably tag on a 2.4 to 2.2 conversion. No. You can turn off that shot balance and stuff. And maybe turn off scatter. And I don't know. Once you're at this point and you've got your image in place, the other thing to note is how do we get it from Blackmagic Design to our working space, Davinci Wide Gamma, Davinci Wide Intermediate? I shot this on Canon R5 several years ago. But this is a DCTL from Thatcher. I'll link it in the description below, but he has several custom camera DRTs that he has made to target what the camera profile is. So instead of just relying on Blackmagic design, you can drop in, if you don't have access to that DCTL, you can just go with a CST and say, nope, Blackmagic design, film Gen 1, and I believe, yeah, Blackmagic design film, which is what we have down here in our raw tab, is what it's doing is Blackmagic design Gen 1 to Blackmagic design Gen 1 of film. So we've set our CST to that, and I'm going to just tell it, because I don't trust use timeline at all, and I like it to be able to look at this node and go, what is it doing, without having to go to my project settings and tell it none, and that is that. And we'll just pipe that in. Now, just clean this up. One of the reasons I hate been liking using layer stacks is because you don't have this cluttered mess of nodes. And we'll just pipe that in the layer mixer. I'm going to turn off the DCTL version. You can see the Canon R5 DCTL kind of tweaks the colors a little bit down in the shadows where you got how the green tones. But what his DCTL is doing is he's done taking the photos from reference, the like color checkers and things, and has made a custom matrix to go from Blackmagic design film to Davinci wide gamut in a way that is more true to the actual way in which the camera took the photo. So, I don't know. You can also just use the CST. Either way, it doesn't matter. The goal is to get to this point, which is to get it into Davinci wide gamut. And now that your stills are there, in Davinci wide, in Davinci Resolve, in Davinci wide gamut, you can say what Lightroom what. Actually, no, and we can get to the business of grading our shots. So maybe we want to just bring up our shadows. I'll touch. I'm gonna bring down our highlights. This is a interesting image that I picked right out of the gate, mostly because it wasn't that great of a shot at the time. I probably had better. You can see one of the things that I shot for in because I relied on Lightroom a lot was shooting with the goal and the aim of I would do bracket exposures, so one to two stops up and 1 to 2 stops down, and auto fire the 3 shots. So that is a feature that we don't have in Resolve. And so how do you go from this shot to this, where you have all of that dynamic range that came from doing a bracketed exposure? That's where you got to get a little tricky. And I did this one in Fusion, and so if we hopped over to Fusion, you can see what I did there, and just really simple. And there's different ways you can do it and think about it. But all I did was stack them up in the correct order. We can go to the timeline view. And so these are the different photos. Boom, boom, boom. Took them all together. I did, out of the gate, make sure in this timeline view that my raw tab was set for these, because we're going to composite them together. We want them all to be in the same place. So we're going to go back to Fusion. Oops, not that Fusion. Here, fusion. There, fusion. Everywhere, fusion. So we have our stuff going on right here. Zoom in for y'all, like so. And what we have is our stack is 1, 2, 3. So this is layer 1. This is the bottom, stop, and things like that. So our darkest image is on the bottom, and then our mid-grade image, and then our brightest image. And I decided to not use the middle, but with the top, I just ran it through a Lumiere and inverted it and said, that is all that I want coming through. I want all the exposure, the bright exposure in these shadows that I shot for, and don't bring in all those, just bring in a little bit of the highlights. So you can see if we just run the Lumiere the way it is, we can actually knock out all of the highlights. But we want that to be generally soft and smooth, and have that sit on top of our darker footage, which is our skyline. So we have that slight haze on top of it, and that's where we can do other things to deal with that. And then it just goes out, and like that. I also have a rectangle, because I could, if I wanted to, camp down on the blend, but that was when I was doing the 3. You just gotta get a little innovative, a little tricky, but I digress. Now we're at the color page, and we are bringing it from Canon R5 to Blackmagic Design, and I have my look in place, so I can do my split toning and kind of make this thing look filmic. You can see this is a lot of the look is being developed by this split tone here. In terms of giving that nice little magenta expansion down in the shadows, which I don't know, I kind of like that little bit of hidden magenta. What do you think? Are you guys ready to ditch Lightroom? Because I sure am. Anyways, until next time, hope you had a great day, and we'll see you on the flippity flop. I'm gonna get back to work. You can leave now or watch another video. You still here?